World War II stories with a supernatural or science fiction spin aren't that rare to come by. But tonight's two movies take supernatural action horror to a new level, or is it a descent into madness? Hello, I'm Hadley Thorne, and you are watching Wyrd with horror authors Alan Gamboa, Scott Baker, and Rick Tristucci. Now, before we get started, let me remind you that you can get additional movie reviews, updates, true crime stories, metaphysical information, author interviews, and so much more at Wyrd Realities on your favorite player, YouTube, and every week you can get a sample of highlight reels on Fringe FM. So, hey guys, how are y'all doing tonight?
Okay.
Good. Good. It's good to see you all.
Hey.
My producer.
The real talent behind the scenes, right?
Yes. He's the brains.
Well, this week I'm kind of excited. We did WarHunt, and what was the other movie?
Ghosts of War.
Ghost of War.
Ghost of War.
And I'm going to say
Oh, you're excited for that one.
I did not. I will say that neither movie was what I was expecting. For better or for worse. So,
I'm holding.
you want me to kick it off?
I'm in a hold.
Please do.
On that. You kick it off.
All right, we're going to start off with WarHunt, and it's 1945. An American military plane has mysteriously disappeared over the Black Forest in Germany. When a bunch of ravens apparently fly into the engine, causing a massive...
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark, calling it engine failure.
Hey, Mark.
There's a team of a dozen GIs led by Sergeant Brewer, played by Robert, is it Knepper?
I believe so.
Yeah. And they're ordered to head into the woods
Knepper.
to find the wreckage. And of course, any soldier that was left alive. And the mysterious Major Johnson, played by Mickey Rourke, was there, and he arrives on the scene with this mysterious specialist, Walsh, played by Jackson Rathborn. And Walsh's job is to retrieve the super secret package from the plane. Now, as the team wanders off, they ward off a Nazi attack, things get stranger, and then they encounter these three beautiful women living in a windmill. From there, things kind of get weird. And that is weird with a Y, by the way. They can't make headway what's going on. They get turned around. Compasses aren't working. Isn't it not right? Compasses don't work. And they find this soldier who has got these... Oh, wait. Let me go back. They found the hanging men. And then they found the Nazi soldier. And he had raven feathers all stuffed in him. And magical inscriptions carved into his body. They start seeing things, disappearing. They lose their grip on reality. There's a boar hunt, or is it a boar? WarHunt unravels into a psychological bunch of chaos. It had a lot of potential, and it had no direction. This is the worst directed movie I can ever imagine. I have to say, I'm a huge, huge Norse mythology fan, so I was super eager. There's a lot of symbolism. First off, you have Mickey Rourke. He's got an eye patch, i.e. Odin. You have the Tree of Life, Yggdrasil. You have the Raven/witches, which very much similar to the Valkyries, going after the warriors of the slain. I mean, there was so much potential in this movie, and it flopped. I was so disappointed. I can't believe that I'm even having to say this. It was beautifully beautiful. The supernatural elements of the film were very well done, and the story did not deliver. So I'm really eager to see what you guys thought about it.
I want my $6.99 back.
Yes. Could have spent that on 2 cups of coffee. No, but Mark, that doesn't mean you're a witch. We'll have to burn you now.
Well, it had great.
I could have spent that on an
effects.
enema kit and had a better time.
Oh, that's
And with
Well,
that,
but I mean, seriously, the women with the feathers and everything, I mean, they were very much Valkyries, and it's like, what the f? What the f, man? It had such potential.
It did.
Well, let me
did. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Let me say this, and then you guys can. Mickey Rourke's moving eye patch, and them capturing the German soldier, calling him a limey. Holy crap! That took me out right there. Well,
Hi, Linda.
Hey, Landa.
Amanda.
Hey, Landa. Mickey Rourke took me out with his hair. You know,
Yeah.
It's 1944.
He has had some work done.
A little.
Yeah,
A little bit.
A little bit. But anyway, I digress, and I refer to
Hey, Tony.
the statesmen that know
Hi,
more
Tony.
about World War II history and woman than I do.
So for me, this movie, if you took everything out of it except for the cinematography, it's a really dark movie, and I don't mean like noir dark. I mean like if you're looking at the screen, the friggin' screen is dark, like to the point
Yes.
where you can't see anything half the movie, and I'm like, so is that a wolf? Is it a branch? Did they build the Millennium Falcon? I can't really tell. So it lost its luster for me with that. Because I'm a big cinematography guy. I like seeing the windmill and you know the German forest and things like that. Except it sucked because you couldn't see anything, and when you could see something, the story was so terrible that it detracted. And I sat there like this.
I know.
Are you kidding me? Look on the whole time.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
My dog is gonging the movie. I don't know if y'all remember the gong show. Y'all hear in the
I do.
background?
Oh,
She's
yeah.
like,
Hey, if the dog gongs the movie, it sucks.
Yeah, this was a bad
Well,
film.
you're right. I put it on dynamic or screen on dynamic, and it didn't help much. It was like
mm-mm.
turning a pin light on in a
Yeah.
dark room. You know, you just couldn't see.
It's really sad because the special effects were awesome. They had great special effects.
They did okay with the special effects. The cinematography was poor. The acting was, I guess it was all right. It was eh. The thing is, the big draw for that is supposed to be Mickey Rourke, and he was just terrible. He was just bad. Like everything about it, like the moving eye patch, and the fact that the only thing I could see when he was doing this movie was the wrestler when he was in that movie.
No.
I get past the fact that, you know, an officer in World War II would have long hair.
Yeah.
Waiting for him to put on his pirate hat and put the parrot on his shoulder.
I know, right?
This, let's face it, this was Mickey Rourke playing Mickey Rourke in a movie.
There was two things I liked about the movie. I liked the idea of the witches, the way they would form out of crows and then break apart of the crows. Superior special effect. Love that.
But that's Valkyries. That's Valkyries. Norse, and some people consider them witches, but they turned into ravens, and they picked the dead from the battlefield.
Yeah. And they didn't play up on that. Granted, at some point I started to just do other stuff while the movie was on. But yeah, and then the Tree of Life, which I thought was really good, what they did to it in the end, and then what the Valkyries did to the tree. I don't want to give it away if anybody.
Oh, you can give it away because nobody's going to watch this friggin' movie.
Yeah.
You know, they said the surviving U.S. soldiers set the Tree of Life on fire to kill them, and they use all the blood gathered at the bottom of the tree to cover the tree and put the flames out. But, you know, I never noticed the Valkyrie connection, Hadley, until you just mentioned it. And I thought that would have made the movie so much better.
It would
But
have.
the whole plot.
Anything would have.
You know, the whole plot. I've got one of the books. I've got one of the Coven books, and the plane went down. Yeah, like we always flew U.S. aircraft with U.S. markings out of Nazi Germany carrying occult books.
Oh wait,
there's so many holes I can punch.
It was the United States Air Force, which wasn't created till 47.
Well, okay.
The guy had on his dog tag.
You know, this movie, it failed on so many levels.
Yeah.
And y'all know, I mean, I'm not usually this impassioned. I was pissed.
Yeah, it was a big
Wow.
letdown.
Yeah.
But you know, the
I was calling you all
camaraderie-
kinds of names.
I bet. Well, hell, I mean, you can't go wrong. It was Nazis, magic, World War II, and then I just don't even want to talk about it, but I will. The camaraderie between the men in the unit was non-existent.
No.
You know, you're supposed
You didn't
to like,
care. Yeah, you didn't
You
care.
didn't. Well, you didn't.
No.
You,
Well, you
there
didn't
wasn't
know.
enough.
You didn't get to meet half of the characters. They were just there to die. I didn't even know any of their names, except
Yeah.
for the Ruck. He was the
Yeah.
only one.
Well,
and
and
it's the same old
Oh, yeah.
trope.
Yeah.
You had the one U.S. soldier who was like psychotic. He wanted to do nothing but rape German women. Then you had the good old boy network from down in the South who's fighting. It was just like, come on, how many cliches can you put into this movie?
well, and then okay, so at the beginning
Oh,
we see
yeah.
Mickey Rourke, and we're like, okay, apparently there's a floating eye patch involved, and then he disappeared. But at the end of the movie, when it's time to like kick ass, here comes Mickey
Chassie.
Hey,
Rourke.
Chassie.
I know, and he got to the
How did he even
scene.
get there?
He got to the scene in like 5 minutes. I
And
mean,
yeah.
they're
Just-
imprisoned in the windmill, and he's like, "All right, I gotta go here."
The magical hidden windmill, mind you.
Yeah, exactly. And he found it in 5 minutes.
Yeah. But there was
But
there
he
was
had
like,
the book. He knew.
Yeah.
but there were so many like little things that they could have developed on.
Yes.
One being the
Well-
the redheaded witch said to the guy, "You're mine. You know, I've chosen you." What the heck was that about? I wanted to know. I wanted to know more about that.
Well, he was just
Well,
supposed to
obviously, she
be
has a wicked
one to
case of
help him.
gonorrhea.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, something.
Exactly. Some kind of Rhea. It was pretty terrible.
What was
Well,
it the guy said in the second movie, which
Well,
was she wrote on there, "Welcome to the clap" or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the clap.
Hey, Chassie.
Well, and when Mickey Rourke's talking about the sergeant, how he would, it kills him to lose one man. You didn't see that in that character of the sergeant.
No.
The one guy gets shot by the tree, and like nobody gives a crap. We're upset. We're a little bit upset, but
I wanted to like
it
the
just
cat,
ain't ring true.
the sergeant, whatever he was,
Mhm.
the one that went crazy.
Yeah.
I wanted to like him. I mean, I wanted to like someone. I really did. But you're right. I just didn't care about any of them.
No.
Oh,
Well, you
in
didn't
the
know any
rounds
of
on
them.
the helmet. Yeah.
Yeah. What?
The Vietnam
When he,
era.
Exactly.
when he went crazy, I didn't even care. I mean, I wasn't invested.
Yeah.
It was like, oh
No,
yeah, that was going to happen.
Well, it was like
Right.
I could not understand. The characters were so poorly developed.
And it was another, like Scott said, rope.
At the beginning, didn't Jackson Rathbone like
There you go.
freeze up during combat?
Yeah, he hid behind the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was a ninja.
He's an OSS officer. He's not going to freeze up behind the tree. I mean, it was so out of. I was expecting, okay, he's going to be the scared coward that's going to save them all. And then all of a sudden, he turns out to be the mysterious OSS officer. It was like, bullshit.
Doing his combat roles.
Right.
It just was crazy.
And
And
they
it
allude
had-
that he's one of Merle's marauders,
I don't even think I picked
Oh,
up on
I
that.
never really picked up. Yeah, he said he was from Burma. I never got Merrill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good catch, Alan.
So
like I said,
a little research, these people that wrote this screenplay, whatever guys were drinking or smoking when they made this movie, a little
Well,
research would have gone a long way with this movie. It would have gave it
that's
a
what
little more
killed me.
gravitas,
I mean, obviously they looked into some Norse myth, and they could have
Yeah.
made it so much interesting. They played it up, but they didn't.
Yeah, they did their research in one direction only, and all of the U.S. military stuff they just kind of skipped over
Yeah.
because they didn't think people like us would tear it apart. They're, hey, let's make a little money, and there's nobody going to review this stupid movie. Let's just make the money. And they were
You know, but those
raw.
movies always get tore apart.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's because they always
They
suck.
always, yeah.
Well, that's why,
Yeah.
I sent y'all the message when we got done. Well, when I got done watching it was, I was wanting to do another horror story. Then I was like, we could do Angel Heart because of the symbolism. Because I knew I was going to have to tear into that. But Angel Heart has a lot of symbolism, which I don't know if y'all remember that movie.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie actually. That's a
Yeah.
good Mickey Rourke movie.
Oh yeah.
And Scott, have you not seen it?
I don't think I've seen that. No.
If you get a chance, it has a lot of really good symbolism. It's a really interesting film. So,
Well, one thing I do notice about modern World War II movies, you were talking about, nobody ever researches it. It's so stupid, and people like me, I watch these movies because, it's a World War II movie. And then you've got, it says 1944, occupied France. And then you got a guy talking about he was in the Black Forest. Okay, in 1944, we weren't anywhere near the Black Forest yet. So, and it's a shame because
well, like I said, the Air Force thing.
Yeah.
They just dropped the ball.
There was so much the ball was dropped.
And they're not really great writers either, because I looked them up. Mauro Borelli is probably one of the biggest, but they did the three of them worked on a bunch of other movies. The Recall was one of them. I never even heard of any of these movies before. So it's not like we're dealing with some really brilliant, well-known screenwriters.
No. So aesthetically,
the Recall's
when I watch a movie with witches, it's usually it always ends up the way it ended up because you just can't beat the witches. You always lose to the witches, but it's usually terrifying. It's usually really scary. Right. I don't know if you guys saw the movie Jane Doe.
The Autopsy of Jane Doe?
Read about
exactly. Yeah, The Autopsy of Jane Doe. It had one witch in it. I mean, it wasn't a really good movie, but it was scary. There was no fear, excuse me, in this movie at all. Like Hadley said, some of the special effects were really good with the witches, but that was it. That was the only redeeming quality because I was never scared. Like I said, I was just sitting there like this, really, that type of thing. And it was just, you watch a horror movie to get scared, and it was not scary.
I spent most of my time rewinding and trying to figure out what was that in the darkness.
Yeah, it was too dark. Right.
I kept thinking that, and hopefully I kept thinking that all of this is going to make sense, and this is going to, they're going to pull all this together with the mythology stuff, and it just never happened. So I watched it from start to finish. It never got better. It got worse steadily. Any hope I had of character development fled sometime around the boar hunt, which I think was the only scene that was, riveting.
I agree. That was that scene where they were eating the boar, and then it's actually their fellow soldier. Yeah. That was a good scene. I thought that was.
Oh yes.
Best scene in the movie, and that's not saying.
Yes.
Well, I liked the witches because I kind of was like, are the witches or are they vampires?
This is a horrible movie. Oh, look at my Apple Pay's ringing. Hallie's sending me $6.99. Look at your phone, guys. I think she's reimbursing us all.
I think it was a good film to review. I mean, I'm not gonna. I would have watched it either anyway. So
I wouldn't have paid, and I don't recommend anybody listening to us watch the movie. It's got some great scenes in it. Keep your expectations low, but don't rent it. Wait till it hits Netflix or Amazon Prime for free.
Yeah, but it might not. It was so bad that it might not.
Then wait until it goes on Svengoolie,
Well, I apologize, but like I said, I would have watched it anyway. I would have. Where the heck did Alan go?
He got Apple paid. He's not doing this. He just made his first $1 million. He's back. We missed you.
Here, I thought you guys were gone. It must be my internet. It must be my internet. Crap.
So what do we rate this one?
Oh, I'll go first, and I will give it a 1 because you can't really give it a 0. Or if we can go less than 1, I'll give it that. I'll give it
You
a.
can go down to 0.01 if you want.
I'll give it that because it was that bad. No, I'll give it a 1 just for the boar scene
Yes.
and the fact that they did the excuse me, the witches very well.
Yeah, same here. That's the reason I'd give it a 1. Those two scenes,
Excuse me.
bless you, those two scenes made that hour and a half somewhat worth it. I couldn't find any figures though on what it's made.
Well, it just came out, so I don't think maybe it's got any yet.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I'm gonna say, like, when it came to the story, to me, you know how like you'll have a dream. I don't know if y'all have ever done this, where you have like a dream, you're like, oh my god, that's gonna make a great story. Then you start like, what the heck happened in that dream that I thought was so good? That was the basis of this movie. I would give it a 1.5 mainly because I really like the special effects, and regardless of how bad it sucked, I love the fact that someone was looking at the mythology, because I think that mythology has got so many cool things that we should see more in movies. So,
Alan?
I give it a thumbs down.
It's your snow hollow, is what you're saying.
Yeah, thumbs down.
I'm gonna go out and kill people.
I hated this movie so much. I hated. I would watch Thanksgiving before I watch this one again.
Hey, if you check my
I did not
page,
enjoy
they
this
have
one, but
they have a Thanksgiving Christmas ornament now.
Oh boy.
Oh wow. So,
what's it?
regardless, this is a universal don't watch.
Yeah, this is terrible. Everybody, I wouldn't do it.
Yes.
I wouldn't waste your time.
This is like
At least God
this
said
is like
don't
the
pay for
past
it.
5 Bruce Willis movies.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Combined.
Watch it on the Sci-Fi Channel when it comes on there.
Yeah.
The
I enjoyed
commercials were the
SS
best
Doom
part of it.
Trooper more than I enjoyed this movie. And that was
Iron
bad.
Sky.
Which movie did you say you like better? SS? Which one?
SS Doom Trooper.
Oh my God!
It's a
that
sci-fi
was
movie
horrible.
where the
Yes, with the gigantic.
but it
like,
wasn't as bad as this one.
Oh, it wasn't.
It-
And the special effects on that
But the
one looked like I
camaraderie.
did it on a weekend.
yeah, they're pretty bad. They're
Somebody
it's
else
it's
saw that.
almost like a low budget Overlord. You know, that's what it was.
That's sad.
Anyway,
Well, on the flip side, Ghost of War surprised me.
Mhm.
I really liked it. It's not the
Now,
best,
this is a movie
but
that
I really enjoyed it.
this movie gets mixed reviews. It's one of those type of movies, and mostly
I
for
can
the
see
ending.
that too.
I was
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
say it's a mixed movie.
It is.
Because of the ending. It's a twist that really nobody saw coming. And so half of me thinks, wow, what a great twist. And the other half of me's like, are you what? That type of thing.
It's.
That was kind of
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do you want to give this movie out there, Rich?
I mean,
Do you wanna do
I
that?
suppose we could. You mean spoilers?
No, I
just
mean
talk
about-
the plot. And
Set it up
everything,
for
and
us.
we could do spoilers.
Yeah,
'cause
it's,
I think this movie's been. Yes.
This movie is, first of all, it's worlds better than WarHunt. And secondly,
Yes.
The plot of the movie is this squad of guys, World War II, have to go and they have to watch this chateau while they're switching out with another group of guys. And when they get in, of course, when they get into the place, the guys are like, yeah, place is spooky, whatever. One team leaves, the other team comes in. Weird shit starts to happen. Excuse me. Weird shit starts to happen. They start to see ghost things. You kind of figure out who's going to make it and who isn't, but you don't really know why. Then the good guys, the Americans, end up having to fortify the place because a German squad comes in and they're just, of course, we're at war, so we're trying to kill each other. And then the ghosts just straight up murder these Germans while not really harming the Americans. And I'm like, okay, so maybe
Glad you made it
the
hope.
Germans did something bad. So you're thinking the Germans did something bad to all these ghosts. And then the Americans do start getting harmed. One guy gets hurt by the German attackers, and he starts yelling weird stuff that just doesn't make sense before he kind of dies. And then there's just a couple guys left, and it kind of, one of the guys starts seeing these flashes of this hospital, but the hospital has modern equipment in it, and you're like, what? And then you realize when Billy Zane makes his entrance, you realize that this whole
Again.
thing is you're in the Matrix, and what they're doing is they're taking wounded warriors from Iraq and Afghanistan and wherever they're fighting currently, and they're putting them in this setting. And inside the setting, they're supposed to learn how to heal better using their mind. But what they didn't know is that this particular group of guys had been using a confidant in Iraq, and they sort of gave him up to the bad guys, to the I don't know, the Iraqi insurgents. And the insurgents came in and killed the family. They killed him hard. They killed him in a bad way.
Yeah.
And so the mother cursed this squad of guys, and when they went into this simulation, the curse followed them into the simulation. So I mean, the idea of it was really, really good, but in practice, it didn't really work for me. It wasn't a bad movie. It was just some of it didn't play right. What did you guys think? Anyone?
Adley, ladies first.
Well, okay,
Yes.
go ahead, lady.
Mm-hmm. Ladies first, Alan.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will go. Any chance to speak? I like this movie. The ending was kind of cool. I thought, in a way, and a lot of people disagree with it and stuff. But what got me is when they're talking about this horror movie, and I'm like, I told Tina, I said, wait, that was from the 50s, and they're in the 40s. What's going on here, And that's kind of your first red herring that something isn't what it is in this, And then Billy Zane at the beginning, that playing the German officer.
The German officer, yeah.
And he only has like a 5-minute part at the most, Then I'm like, wow, well, Billy Zane's gone. Well, then it plays out.
Comes back.
Yeah, it was okay. The acting was really good.
Excuse me.
It's got a lot of good actors in it. Theo Rossi from Sons of Anarchy, Alan Richardson, the guy that's going to play Jack Reacher in the series. I'm really excited about that. And Brenton Thwaites and Kyle Gallner and Gomez Adams' son, Skylar Aston, the original Gomez Adams. That's his son that plays the bookworm, the guy with the glasses.
Was it his son or his grandson?
Yeah, that's his son.
Oh,
that is what's his name? Stepbrother.
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin. That's his stepbrother.
Okay.
Yeah, or half brother, whatever. So it was okay. I like you said, it's worlds away from WarHunt.
It is.
Well, I enjoyed it. I'll give y'all a couple of trivia here, which Boudreaux got commentary on this too.
At least he didn't gong it.
He did not. There's no gong involved. The guy who directed and wrote The Butterfly Effect was the director and writer of this.
Okay, that makes sense.
Kind of does make sense.
Yeah, it kind of does. Billy Zane was one of the executive producers. So
that does not surprise me.
He produces a lot of.
Yeah,
I think he produces a lot of his stuff. Him and Scott hang out.
Scott Baker?
Yeah.
Scott and Baker.
They did.
Him and Scott hang out.
He was at one of the conventions I was at. He was a little.
Well, don't name drop now.
He let Scott hold his pumpkin.
I did not like the twist. I was not a fan of the twist at the end. It had the camaraderie that I really wanted the group to have in WarHunt.
Yes.
I really loved the
Right.
way the guys got together. I loved it was very kind of like I liked the suspense, the build. It had some great gore in it. The war scenes were great, like when the Germans charged into the chateau.
Mhm.
I loved it. I mean, I love the it had some with like jump scares that were great. Um, it was a nice change from War Hunt. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I really like Carl Goddard's sniper. I really like
Yeah.
that character. The cat in the cradle story was like just
Yeah.
riveting. I wanted to know more about that. I thought that it was really good. I started noticing when they were like kind of wandering around. I was like, are they in purgatory? Where the hell are they? And I was thinking that looks like a place in Afghanistan or Iraq. So I was kind of picking up on stuff, and then of course, it's like, well, we've seen this ambulance like 4 times now. But I didn't like the change. I just didn't like the science fiction element that they brought into it. It seemed kind of a harsh, I guess a harsh switch over, which I don't know if y'all noticed the gruesomeness of those guys'
Yeah.
condition was,
Yeah.
which
They were all right.
Oh yeah.
I did not notice this until later. When this was like I was thinking about it. Their positions every time they were sleeping and woke up were the same positions they were in that hospital room.
So were their injuries.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
So but yeah, but I really from the first scene where the guy wakes up and he sees that figure with the cigar,
Mhm.
that was creepy. I don't know about y'all, but I'm one of those people. I wake up at night and I swear I see things in the shadows, so that always kind of creeps me out. And it was a good movie. I would recommend it, even though I didn't like the end. I would recommend it.
So the creepy factor that you were just mentioning, there was none of that in the other movie. This movie had a
No.
lot of spookiness to it, and
It
there was none of it in War Hunt.
This movie had the stuff that I was looking for in WarHunt. So I'm glad I watched WarHunt first, because I would have, really, really hated it if I had seen it second.
I liked this movie, and not just because they filmed it in light. I knew what was, even the night scenes, you knew what was going on. I was the same way, Hadley. I picked up on weird stuff now and then, like near the end where he said, "Oh, this chateau was owned by a bunch of Afghanis," and I'm like, there were no Afghanis owning chateaus in 1944. I actually really enjoyed that twist ending when they're in a simulation and the curse had followed them.
Yeah.
I thought, but I also picked up the dichotomy between the war that they were living in World War II, where it was warfare, it was gun to gun, it was soldier against soldier, and then just the inhuman brutality of the ISIS guys when they break into the compound.
Yeah.
There was no warfare. That was pure
It was murder.
That was pure unadulterated torture. The things they did. And I'll get in trouble with some of my friends. They wanted to jump in and stop it.
Yeah.
It was the civilian intelligence officer that wouldn't let them do it.
Yeah.
Asset was more important than the lives. Because I remember they kept on wanting to do it, and at one point one of them had to pull the gun and put it to his head, but then the rest of ISIS showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like they were bad guys.
No, they weren't bad.
They were
guys.
like they were stuck.
Yeah.
They were stuck, and the worst you could say about them was they were following bad orders. Now, I don't know if the director and the screenwriter were like trying to make a a pitch to, well, that's just following orders, didn't work at Nuremberg. It shouldn't work anywhere else. The only part of the movie I didn't like that took away so much from me was the last 10 seconds when he goes back into where he hooks himself up, goes back into the chateau and says, "What do you want?" That to me opened up an ending that was just all like, okay, now you left this whole movie hanging for me.
Well, I can beat you with weird stuff that they left hanging was the occult symbolism. So if it is a simulation, why did it have all the Nazi occult stuff in the attic? Unless that was one of the things. I want to know more about that because that did not make sense with them being Afghani, and it didn't make sense with these guys don't really know much about the occult. But it wasn't an occult curse; it was an Afghani curse. I mean, just again, this goes to somebody who looks at metaphysical stuff and studies it. It just didn't. It didn't.
Well, I mean, maybe
that's how
they perceived it.
Yeah, but still the symbols were there.
Okay.
Yeah. It just
I thought maybe that was their perception.
But they wouldn't have had that perception because they're, unless one of them had that knowledge. It was just like the book. The book went from being in German to being in Afghani. That was like one of those weird things that I guess it was like a red herring we should have picked up on in hindsight. But the occult symbolism stuff, it just never did.
Yeah, because if she cursed them in Afghani, like Hadley said, unless one of them was an expert on the occult, they wouldn't have picked up on the occult. I mean, like the scene where the kid who threw himself on the grenade wakes up and screams, they're real, they're real, they're real, before he drops dead. I mean, that I could see the connection, but...
Yeah. Again,
well, I'm thinking maybe the simulation.
I pick up on.
I was thinking maybe the djinn or whatever the thing that was the curse, the dark man, whatever it was. Maybe because it was running the simulation a little bit, right? And maybe that's how it made it seem to them, because they were in World War II, they were, in a German area. So I don't know. That's just my.
It's not a bad explanation.
It's
not bad.
It could be just their faux pas, too.
See, I never even picked up on that until Hadley said it. So
I didn't either.
Well, if you have time, go back and watch the scene where the curse is coming to life and it highlights the magical symbols in the attic when they're doing the ghost stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not trying to detract from the movie because I really did enjoy it. I did not like the ending, but I wasn't expecting the ending either, so I liked that part of it.
There were a lot of allusions to it through the film that it was going in a different way, but I didn't see it coming. And half of me hated it, and half of me was like, it really is a great idea, but it's a ripoff of The Matrix. But it was okay. I wish they didn't do it.
I liked it when the guy who was nuts with the cat's cradle and it says, "Oh, some kid just gave this to me," and you think, okay, he's nutty. But then when they flash back to the present, and he walks over to play with the kids, and the kid gives him the cat's cradle.
Yeah.
Then it's sort of like, oh, okay, these guys
made sense.
These guys are reminiscing about that last 5 minutes of their life.
I mean, it could have worked as just a haunted house story.
Yeah.
Straight up, the ghost in the haunted house, too. So, yeah.
I enjoyed it. Like I said,
compared to Ghost of War, this thing could get an Academy Award.
Yeah. But, the funny thing was, I looked it up on IMDb. The movie only made $345,000 worldwide.
Wow.
That's a shame.
It is.
Well, was it? And I think it was released during the beginning of COVID, right? Because I saw it we rented it on Spectrum.
Yeah. Let's see.
A while ago, last year. last year,
Yeah, it was a while ago.
a couple years ago.
I think it was released
Yeah.
first half of 2020.
I think that's when I saw it the first time.
Yeah.
I think I might have started watching it, but I stopped because I did not remember the ending. If I did watch it, I don't think I would have forgotten that.
Well, that was the thing. I'd watched the whole movie, and I didn't remember it until they woke up in the modern medical center. Then it was sort of like, oh wow, maybe there's something there. Maybe I'm cursed.
I like that they didn't use a lot of actors we recognized. I like that they used like some fresh faces. And it kind of played into that they were still so young, but haunted to be, you know, and I bought, I mean, like I said, I liked it. I really liked the World War II part of the movie. I liked the haunted house. I liked the ghost. They were well done. I loved how like you would see the legs and like stuff in mirrors, and it was really well done.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, the acting, the writing. Yeah. I mean, it came together, that part of it, and then of course.
Now, one thing I didn't do, and I should have, because I remember one person complained that, again, they screwed up the military. They were wearing patches from the 82nd Airborne and the 1st Red One. My question was, because I thought, well, they're ground troops. Why are they wearing airborne patches? But if they were ground troops, they'd be the big red one. What was their military designation when they were in Afghanistan?
Oh,
that's what I forgot to look up to see if they were 82nd Airborne, which that would tell you, the crossover.
That's a good call.
That's kind of cool.
Now I have to watch that again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks a bunch.
You're welcome.
And let me ask y'all this, because it seems to be poignant in the movie, but I can't see in hindsight exactly maybe what it was supposed to mean. Was the concentration camp victims?
Oh yeah.
Well, going back to what I said earlier, when there was a group of people that were tortured inhumanly. There was nothing military about. There was nothing battle. They were shot. They were gassed. They were burned. And then at the end of the movie, and wasn't like one of the kids, the kid with the cat's cradle, wasn't he the kid with the mother?
Yes.
And wasn't the mother? And wasn't the mother the old woman at the house that put the curse on him? And he puts the coat around her.
Now I gotta watch.
Yeah, we gotta watch this again.
Yeah, see now that you mention that, I'm thinking he's like in his simulation. We didn't do anything to help these poor innocent civilians. In the simulation, I'm doing something to help the poor innocent civilians. And then he keeps on seeing them. But the second time, he sees them with the Nazi coat on that he gave.
Well, and let me ask you this. Alan, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, you might, I don't know, your head that way, but the way they killed Billy Zane and his men were brutal. Was it because Billy Zane is the doctor that's in their, there's, do they sense his presence? And is that why they killed him that way?
I think so. I think so, because
I don't know.
They opened them up as being really brutal. I mean, the cat's cradle guy was pulling the gold teeth out, which was what the Nazis did, and then he's stealing all the militaria. But then when he meets the young woman, and this threw me at the time, I can see him giving her the coat. Why did he give her the patches? What is she going to do with an SS officer's patch?
Well, and this is my question, because I cannot think clearly right now. Wasn't the war over when they released people from the concentration camps? But in the movie, they were still fighting.
It depended on where the concentration camp was.
They were in France. Weren't they in France?
Right, and that kind of threw me because there were no concentration camps in France. There were labor camps using Jewish labor, but they never would have kept the little kids alive. They would have just shot the kids and let the adults go. But I sort of ignored that after the movie started getting rolling because I was thinking, oh, well, they had to have the Jews there to show them, the Nazis are evil. So if we're beating up on Nazis, we're not bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie gets better the more we
Gotta
talk
go
about
back
it.
and watch all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm
right. It's more of it's more of a mind screw now.
But I'm not watching WarHunt. I'm sorry. Get me drunk enough.
Oh, wait. Maybe WarHunt's deeper than we think it is.
No.
Maybe the moving eye patch means something.
We will never find out.
WarHunt is as shallow as a puddle of dog piss.
Yep.
Come on.
I agree.
I really kept thinking they were going to wrap it up with the whole Norse mythology thing, and it was going to be in the book, and that was what the hidden secret thing. They were no, they just screwed.
And the ending's just kind of flat. The ending's just kind of flat. It's like, okay.
Was that the redheaded witch?
It was.
Yeah,
it was one
end,
of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, what happened to the guy?
They got him.
Yeah.
They just got him.
Jackson Rathbone did not make it out.
Nope. So
He
one of the
should've stayed
things. Go ahead.
Oh, it's just gonna be dumb. It's just gonna be dumb. He should have stayed with the Twilight series. Bam! There we go.
Oh. What I thought the whole mission was what the mission was to stop the Nazis from getting these two books or even one of the books, because the whole thing was about eternal life and making super soldiers that you couldn't kill and stuff like that. Excuse me.
It was. I didn't even pick that up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's what it was. That's what both enemy missions were. One was to stop it from happening, and one was to make it happen. But what I thought Mickey Rourke's character wanted was that power for himself. I thought he wanted to go in there and take it over and either put it with his soldiers or just get it for him. And it fooled me. That's just had nothing to do with it at all. He was trying to follow through on his orders or what he needed to do to stop this from happening.
What was his one like badass line that he had? I'm gonna go get my boots dirty or something.
Yes,
that's
exactly what it was. I actually wrote it down, but I didn't bring my notebook. And I was like, nope, that sucked. Nope, got to rework that. You actually just said it better than he did. So.
Oh my, that was horrible. That was horrible movie. And oh my gosh, and it's always super soldiers with Nazis.
It is. Yeah, we never rated the other film.
Oh, Ghosts of War.
Yeah, Ghosts of War.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me just go back to that and say, with Ghost of War, what about? And this is another thing that I kind of felt like they left hanging was, okay, you remember when my little sniper guy, Tabbert, when he had the people in the back, the Nazi soldiers in the back of the truck, and they were all undressed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, we have to do this or something. You wouldn't understand. Y'all remember? What was that about?
Yeah.
He was just going to kill them. I don't know. Maybe he was looking for something that they had. But it just seemed to me like he was going to kill them.
I thought they were dead.
Maybe he killed them. Are you talking about the ones in the back of the truck that he took the clothes off of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he undressed them for a reason. He said something about that.
What did he say again?
I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something about you. They have to be this way.
Suppose that was Billy Zane talking about undressed bodies wounded in war.
Maybe.
Okay, go back. Scott, what are you talking about?
I remember that scene when they come back and they find all the Germans and they're dead. No, you wouldn't, Ash.
Well, Ash would be his own super soldier.
Oh yeah, he
Yep.
would. No, they came back, and it just sort of caught me off guard. That okay, why did they strip down the soldiers and shoot them? I mean, unless somebody else stripped them down for the uniforms. But if they were channeling Billy Zane, standing there looking at a whole bunch of stripped down U.S. soldiers laying there, saying, we had to do it's for their own good.
Maybe.
I'm gonna have to rewatch this movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch this movie. We have never rewatched a movie based on one of our
Nope.
shows.
No,
This
we
is a
haven't.
first.
No. This will affect my grading of this movie.
I'm going to have to say that this is one of my favorite discussions we've ever had about a movie.
Yes.
It was deep.
Yeah.
Who knew,
Yeah.
right? But apparently not the millions of people who didn't see it.
Well, like Alan said at the beginning, this got really mixed reviews. Some people liked it, and I think a lot of people liked it up until the twist at the end, and they were just like, why did you do that? But my daughter saw this movie before I did, and she actually told me to watch it. It was 2 years ago, I think. It was a year and a half ago. She said, you got to watch this. It was great. He said, there's a weird twist at the end, and so I did. I watched it. I was like, yeah, it was good. And excuse me, I watched it again at the beginning of the week, and I was like, yeah, that there's a lot of shit in here. And I thought it was pretty good.
The butterfly effect was like that. It was one of those really mental movies that really made you think. And he kind of alludes to some of the stuff with y'all remember when he's talking about the smart guys talking about the book that it has to do with was it alternate realities and different dimensions. And
maybe. Yeah.
What was that? I'm about to look it up. But there was a quote that he said that was very interesting, that especially in hindsight, looking at the movie, it was a really good tie-in.
Yeah. Hey, Whitney. Sorry, I forgot to tell you we're on tonight.
Hey, Whitney.
We're on tonight. She's getting ready to move to Grand Falls.
I'm jealous.
Great Falls.
Great Falls.
Where's Great Falls?
Montana.
Great Falls, Montana. Yeah, her husband got a promotion, so
I always wanted to see Montana.
I always wanted to live in Montana. My wife wants to stay around here, and I always wanted to live in Montana.
My
my
wife-
daughter's living the dream for us. We can live through her.
My wife hates New England. She's from Florida. If I ever said I was going to Montana, I'd be going alone.
Y'all like the snow way too much. I want to have my house in Mississippi for the winters, and I would like off season in Montana.
I hate the snow.
Well, you guys have been getting hammered in the South this year.
I think I told y'all this. We had our big snowpocalypse a couple of weeks ago. It didn't even snow. I think it snowed overnight, but by 4 a.m. it had melted off my house.
Well, Ash, you and I'll move to Montana together.
Oh, don't even say that, Whitney.
Oh, shit.
True. No, that is true.
Oh, man.
I was going to say that, but I was too nice. Now, look, you broke Alan's heart.
He's crying. He's crying. Don't cry. She was kidding. She was kidding.
She didn't mean that. We know she's a daddy's girl.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
her
she's
folks
saying-
both.
She is
She's
your
really
daughter.
close with her mom. Bam. Bam. Yeah, we're gonna miss her. We definitely. But anyway,
So what do we rate this one?
Um,
You go
my
first. Scott.
man, because
Well, I'll give it a 4.2.
I second that. I can give it a 4.2.
Asked
I will
again,
too. I'll give it a 4.2 because I got to go watch it again now to
Yeah.
pick up on all this.
I'm gonna give it a solid 4, but I'm gonna watch it again just because what? So I have to go see a lot of that again and go back, especially the scene that Hadley called out with the guys in the back of the truck. So I gotta go.
Well,
Yeah,
and the occult.
the
What
symbols.
was it they said that
Symbols
it
of
was?
reality.
Yeah.
They said I'm gonna have to rewatch it just for these scenes with the occult stuff because they said something about sacrifices. Remember that?
No, I don't.
No, I don't.
I believe you, but I don't
I
remember
don't.
it.
It was something about the
Yeah,
scripture on the floor that it was for like a human sacrifice. Because I was in the movie, I was wondering, well, why didn't they sacrifice? Why didn't they kill those folks up there? That's what it was for.
Well, I was reading reviews on this, and somebody was complaining about the patches. What you were talking about, Scott, and
Yeah.
they didn't even get that. They were saying they couldn't even get the unit patches right. And when you said it, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. You know?
Yeah. Now I got to check. I don't
But they
know if
didn't
the
get it.
82nd
So I thought-
Airborne was in Afghanistan, but and I got to watch.
No, they were in
And I want to
Iraq.
watch the end of that movie, the last scenes, to see if they're wearing the 82nd patches on their uniforms.
A battalion of
Yeah,
the 82nd Airborne Division was rerouted to Kabul from the original destination of Kuwait on August 14th, joining a few thousand other troops who were ordered to Afghanistan as the capital quickly fell under the tent. Oh no, but that's November 10th, 21. That was just now.
Oh,
Excuse me.
yeah, we'll just have
But
to
still-
check and see if they've got the 82nd Airborne insignia on their shoulders in those last scenes.
That would make sense, Scott. I mean,
Then
that would.
that would make sense. Then those guys would be like, "Ooh, they're really playing with it."
Yeah, I think a lot of people when they watch this, they like we missed some of it, and then but missed a lot of the stuff. So they're like, yeah.
It's a lot smarter movie than people give it credit for.
It is. It is.
Yeah, but it's also kind of our job to look at that stuff, to look at stuff nobody else will look at. Yeah. So I think that a lot of that stuff that gets missed is because people are watching a movie to get scared and not to pick on 82nd Airborne patches and symbols in the attic and stuff like that. Seriously. And
Well, see, I'm the type of. I grew up with war movies. My best friend and I, Curtis, watched Pearl Harbor on TV one night. I'm surprised his big screen TV survived. We were throwing everything at it. P-40 pilots flying B-25s. No!
Well, you know what? They used a lot of actors from Black Hawk Down in that movie. And same with
even Kate Beckinsale couldn't save that movie.
Matt Damon.
Not Kate Beckinsale in black leather.
No, she was in a nurse's uniform. That was Kate Beckinsale in Van Helsing. That's the outfit with those big high boots and the boot. Yeah, that. Yeah, that's my.
Pearl Harbor needed vampires, obviously. It
Right.
was missing vampires.
Yeah, because
high boots.
I mean, how do you take one of the most exciting, adventurous moments?
Okay. I just found something.
Oh shit!
About 71
That's what
minutes.
she said.
Not even going there. About 71 minutes into the film, near the end, Tabbert is shown sitting in a cult circle, and some words appear around him. Those are flipped horizontally and are Pashto, which is native Afghan language, phonetically saying something I can't even say, meaning this is not real.
Wow.
Okay then.
But that's when I was talking about how it glows. The symbols, the occult symbols, change into that Afghani script, and that's one of the things. So that makes more sense now.
Okay.
Sorry.
And you said they were in a circle.
Boy, they thought way too
it's
much.
It's upstairs in the attic. In that occult symbolism that they had drawn on the floor, they were saying was German.
Right, but what I'm saying is they were in a circle like the troops were.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely watching this.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, damn it.
This was a good one. It's a good call, Alan. I really enjoyed it.
And I'm glad you changed my mind because Soldiers of the Damned follows with WarHunt just perfectly, but it's not a good movie. So I'm glad you were stuck to your guns and said, Ghost War. So I'm glad you did that because we found something.
Definitely. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for this week. Until next week, you can find us on Fringe FM or searching Wyrd Realities on your Google. You can hear more from Alan, Scott, our friends Logan, Joe, Morgana, Rich, and the rest of the Wyrd kids. Anytime when you look on social media, you can use our link tree, and that's Wyrd with a Y, and that's linktr.ee/Wyrd Realities. And until next time, guys, stay weird.
Thanks, everybody.
So,
Next
guys,
week. Bam.